Hey, good afternoon. I see I have this difficult, onerous task to wake up all of you guys post-lunch. I've had a few lunch with a few guys and I said, please make sure you wake up and clap hard once I finish my speech at least, okay? So good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Rashid, Aleem Congress, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to Tata Group and Tata Projects in me in particular. I met Dr. Rashid about 3-4 months back, and I think it was zapped to hear about somebody who believed in sustainability. We in the Tata Group always thought we were like the lord and master of sustainability. And we kind of, after meeting him, I went back and said, I think we need a lot to learn from Dr. Rashid and the team. Okay, so thank you very much for giving us the opportunity, okay? This is a best practice, okay, before I get on to my real speech. One of the things we've done in the Tata Group, a lot of Tata companies actually do this today, a lot of chairmen actually do this. We run our board meetings, okay, with safety as agenda number 1, sustainability as agenda number 2, and then comes to the profit and loss account. So it's been like a practice that's very well accepted in the Tata Group. So I think that's something that some of you large companies could probably use as a template to actually drive sustainability right at the group level and right at the board level, and then ensure it cascades downstream, okay? So having said that, so thank you very much, guys. So some of you guys at the back can take a seat or stand up if you really feel good about it, okay? So quick background, guys. This is the context where I think we met Dr. Rashid, and I think his agendas and the UN agendas, there's a lot of convergence, and I think the topic we said is what's about water and energy. So there's very little about Tata Projects here. There's some lovely case studies that, and I think to quote what I heard Dr. Rashid say is, how do you combine the environment, the economy, and the social aspect, right? It's a very difficult ask, and I think you'll see some of the aspects coming through in 3 or 4 case studies that we're presenting, and I think that'll give you a context of how to marry some and look at the context of the Sustainable Development Goals and how they interplay. So having said that, let's go. So this is about the UN SDG. So it basically kind of talks about 17 different goals that are highly interlocked with each other, okay? And it's been signed by lots of countries, lots of institutions need to adopt this, and this is something that's going to be, as they define it, universality, which means it cuts across every sectors, every nations, institutions, organizations. It talks about integration, that there's no one goal that can be achieved in isolation. The goals interplay into each other, and that I think is a very important dimension. I think, the environment, the social, the economic aspects, how do they tie up together? And the third big piece is it's got to be transformative, it's got to be big, it can't be incremental plays, right? I think that's the 3 aspects around which the whole UN 2030 sustainability goals have been conceived. So this is some of them. I think this is the 17 goals. And what we'll talk about is 3 or 4 case studies that we in the Tata Group and Tata Projects specifically have done, where we will see this interplay between the economy, the environment, and the social commit, okay? And while I think some of you guys know about the Tata Group, I think we basically about $110 billion, top 100 brands of the world, operate in 100 countries across the world, 700,000 population. I was sharing with somebody who was my British colleague on the table, the largest private sector employer in UK. And I think we do a lot of different things across the world, but I think pretty much every industry that we operate in, we stay in number 1, 2, 3. And I think what's most unsaid, and few people know about this, is while the Tata Group is mercilessly capitalistically driven to the very top, 67% of Tata Group is actually held by Tata Trust. So we take away for the last 150 years, we just celebrated 150 years. For the last 150 years, we've taken away 67% of the group profits and give it back to charity every year. So we've created some really state-of-the-art cancer research hospital, National Center of Performing Arts, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. All of these stuff is something that we created out of the profits that we deliver from ruthlessly, mercilessly operating capitalistic companies, right? So I think the combination of driving economic growth and creating social value is something which has been outstandingly done in the Tata Group, not really talked about, but to think of, the Time magazine called us the gentle capitalistic. 67% of group profits taken back and given to charity year after year, unheard of. So I think this is really, you'll see the interplay here in terms of how do we kind of marry different goals, interplay them, and create value for community, create value for Tatas, create value for the environment too, okay? So this is really, I was sharing with my friends at Basics, right? It's, I think, one of the only projects anywhere done in the world where we've actually taken a river that flowed through a city called Jaipur in India, north of India, and it's a river that flowed 150 years back. And that river over time, sustainability aspects, environmental aspects caught up and it became a dirty creek. So we took this river, we did the Swiss challenge with the government of Rajasthan, and we said we will convert that river back to its pristine glory. So what we've really done is it's 47.5 kilometer riverfront, which had corroded into a dirty creek, smelly dirty creek, and you had Jaipur city, this river cuts Jaipur city into two pieces. So literally you had to cross the river multiple times over in Jaipur. So we kind of pick the entire sewage of Jaipur city on either side of the river, bring it in on a 47-kilometer pipelines, and actually have done sewage treatment plants. We rebuilt the entire river into a canal. We banked it at every 500-meter intervals, and we now take this sewage water, treat it, and flow it back into a river. So in a sense, we've got back a river that flowed 150 years back. So I think this is what we call the environment and the social aspect and being commercially viable, right? So I think that's the one that we did here.